Good afternoon, every one of us. We can unmute our mic to say one or two things first before we go back on mute.
Good afternoon. My name is Ben Edupolo, GLFx Chapter Ibadan. Good afternoon, team.
The next person, Joseph.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olajide Joseph, GLFx Ibadan.
Yeah, let's Catherine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Catherine Ikuda, GLFx Ibadan Chapter.
Itama. Unmute yourself, you're on mute. Omoye, you are on mute. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Itama Ebonita Omoye from GLF Chapter Ibadan.
Adejoke.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adejoke Jegede, GLFx Ibadan. Nice to see everyone again.
Pleased to have all of you. Then our ever vibrant co-coordinator, Mrs. Adenike Sanusi. Can we have you on board?
Hello, everyone. I'm Adenike Sanusi. Good to see you all. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, team, and good to see every one of you. I want to say Happy New Year to every one of us. Though I've seen Nika, I've been in several meetings with her, but for every other person, this is my first time of seeing you guys. I want to say I'm very excited seeing your faces, and I pray that this year 2022 will be fruitful for every one of us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yeah. Quickly, just also to apologize for the technical issues we experienced the other time. So it's not implicit, but we just have to circumvent. We need to just improvise, quickly get another link for our meeting. So we just start without wasting much time. We already know why we are here today. Is to start off our project, our GLFx restoration project under the mandate given to us and the partnership we entered into with GLFx. So we were supposed to have a big launch, but because of financial constraints, we had to reduce the size of our event and come down to an online workshop just to keep us abreast of what is expected and what we are supposed to do going forward as regard the landscape restoration or the GLFx initiative that we have signed up for. So I will just quickly also share a slide with us so that we, at least for every other person that is on the team, apart from Joseph, and I'm not too sure about Joke, if you have an insight of what GLFx is all about. But I guess Nika and Omoye would have done a good job by telling you what is expected of us and what the GLFx platform is set to achieve. But start with, I will enable screen sharing so that we can see just. Can we all see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen, sir.
All right, that's good. Any other person?
Yes.
Can we all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Lovely, lovely. So what we tend to do, like we all know, we are GLFx Ibadan chapter, and what we are doing is like an onboarding of our action plans that have been submitted to GLFx in respect of landscape restoration. Then also, you know what GLFx is all about, and look what it's all about. Right initiative I get towards combating, fighting poverty. So every of our initiative, every of our program, irrespective of our alignment, should be addressing our core values, which is to alleviate poverty in every community that will carry out or execute a project. So what are we going to be doing for GLFx or doing with GLFx? GLFx is a platform that is used for advocacy, for campaign concerning landscape restoration, and also helping us to promote or amplify our local action in the global space. That is what they are into. Then Rip White is coming in the area of agriculture, because we have other three core areas of our intervention programs, and agriculture, which is Go Agro project, is one of the major initiatives that would drive. So this is where we align with the GLFx forum, because we have all noticed that one of the major cause of land degradation in landscape degradation in our own locality is the harmful practice of the local farmers. So our intentions now is to enhance the knowledge, the training capacity of this local farmer, not just to yield quality products or goods, but also to increase their pockets economically, whereby we'll be restoring the landscape by embarking on sustainable agricultural practice. So this is where we align with Global GLFx, the Global Landscape Forum. And this is the path we are going to be following to deliver on our project. We are going to be working with the local farmers. We have identified them, we have been with them, and we have a schedule already, a program for our community action plan. But as we go on, we'll be touching on these things as we progress. But just to give a background for those of us that might not have this in-depth information before now, at least have an idea of where we are going to, what the project is all about, and what is expected of every one of us. Go to the next slide. How do we align with GLFx? What is bringing us on board? What is that agreement that we have with them? Like I shared with us, it's for landscape restoration in our local communities and its environment. Then how do we ensure this? We cannot do it alone. We are not farmers, but we are farming community. We have community which have local authorities. So we need to identify these local authorities, we need to identify this farming community, and also empower them with information that they will need to work with when they are carrying out their farming activities. Our goal is to combat extreme poverty in Africa. Then, by doing that, we know we need to go to the rural areas and engage with the smallholder farmers on how they can engage in sustainable agricultural practices. Like I have said before, this is where we'll come in. Then what will they be doing? What will we be teaching them? What are we going to be living with them? Is environmental sustainability. The rural farmers will know and appreciate their role in our project. And also we need to carry them along by engaging them in workshops like this. Then also we cannot do it alone also, because we need some institution like the University of Ibadan, the Ministry of Forestry, Land, Agriculture. All these people are supposed to be our stakeholders, our resource person when we need information, and when we need people from the academia to come and really tell us the nitty-gritty or the theory of what we are trying to do practically, so that at least we have full knowledge of what we are doing, not just based on what we know or what we think, our perception, but we'll be working from maybe a science-based and informed perspective for us to achieve this. Then also we need to enlighten our stakeholders, both the farmers, the rural communities, to their chieftains and traditional rulers, the youth, that what are we trying to do? How can they adapt to the ever-changing climate and how it affects their product, whether the quality and the quantity of their produce from the farm, then how they can mitigate, how we can bring out solutions that will circumvent all those their experience. And because we know presently there's food insecurity, not just in Nigeria, but in sub-Sahara and so many parts of the world. So our attempt is to address that issue that is on our front burner. Then also we are talking about community development. When we do all of this, we know we are helping the community to develop. We help them to develop in their knowledge, build capacity for them, and also develop them economically. Because when they are prosperous in what they do, there will be development coming to that community based off of their new practice, their new ways of doing things other than their traditional way of farming that is leading to the climate change and landscape degradation. So all of these are what we are going to put in a box for them to digest and we work with. And we also know that by the time we are at the end point of our project, they should have aligned fully and begin to practice and imbibe what we would have told them. So we move quickly also to the next slide. What is our expectation? What are we expected to do? What are our goals, our aims and objectives? One is to create awareness on the hazard of harmful agricultural practices on the landscape among farmers, which I have identified as I was speaking, because we need to identify, and some of these issues that we have identified already is felling of trees, bush burning, monocropping. All these things affect the quality of their produce and also affects even them economically. And by so doing, they shortchange themselves, which lead to poverty. Then how do we ensure that this is not the new practice? Is by training. And we have mentioned our stakeholders that will be bringing on board, like people from the Department of Agriculture, the UI, Soil Science, then Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Forestry, and etc. Those are the people that will be our resources. They need training, they need information, and they will need to know that this is the new trajectory, this is the new path they need to go. Then while we do this, it's our local action. They might not see us, we might do it in Ilubon. Please correct me, Nike. Our community, please help me out. Ilubon, our community, please somebody should help me. Ilubon.
Yes, Ilegbon.
Ilubon, correct. Yes,
Yes.
we will do it. We can attract 500 people, even 1,000 people, but whatever we are doing, remain in that space. But GLFS is providing us the digital space for us to showcase what we are doing locally by putting it on their platform, and by extension, they'll put it on their website and all of their handles. So we need to create an awareness and also begin to bring new members on board and engage them, tell them what we are trying to achieve, what we're trying to do with this GLFS project. Are you getting me? So then how do we do? We also need to find network from the local communities, from the institutions around us, from the local authorities, and from the traditional setup, and also from our educational institution, starting from the secondary school, because we need to partner with them, we need to network with them, for them to carry out our message just as we want it, and just as the GLFS body wants it. So that is a part of our objective, networking locally and also networking globally. And we are not restricted from having a network with some of our other SIA chapters, like the Lumbe, the Nairobi, the South African body. Then even you're the one that is closest to us, we are allowed to exchange intellectual information, exchange ideas, review it together. If possible, have a joint project. Then if not, we can share all this information. Though I know very well that our issues in our landscape may be unique and peculiar, but the approach might be the same. So we can learn and pick one or two things from them. Then also we talk about how do we get our youth involved. This one of our objectives is to foster involvement of youth and teenagers in the landscape. I've already mentioned that we need to recruit our our secondary school students, bring them on board to be our ambassador, to be our disciples, and begin to run our crusade. Then also from youth groups within that community and its environment, let's tell them this is what we are all about, this is what we need to do, because they say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. If we are on the stage today, we are not impacting them, we are not empowering them with information and all the necessary things to do. When we leave the stage, what will we be handing over to them? So it's good for us at this point, why we are, which is part of our objective though, that we bring them on board, align them with our initiative, our project, so that by the time we are leaving the stage, they can also continue from where we stop. And even by so doing, by extension, we look to bet another chapter between now and the nearest future. Maybe before the end of the year, we should come up with another GLFx chapter under Ibadan chapter. And we go. The mandate, what is the responsibility of GLFx Ibadan on this project? Yes, we have signed an LOA, we have signed an agreement, even license of operation, we signed it. These are some of the things that we need to do that is expected of us. The thing is, we need community action plan, which we have submitted from day one before we even got enlisted for this project, which is ongoing. But those community action plan are not cast in stone. So we can review, we can tweak it as it suits the time and the purpose that we want to use it for. Then also they expect us to have our stakeholders as identified, as mentioned already. We need to work with them. We need to bring them on board and know when they will be needed. Like this, if we're having a larger workshop that is not online, maybe that will require the training of the farmers and also educating the local community that will be the host. We will need these, our stakeholders, to be on board in our workshop. So our relationship with those people, the network, and how we communicate our information matters, and we need to develop that. That is part of our mandate, the objective, the agreement we have with GLFx. Then also whatever we do in our locality, in our landscape, is expected that we put it out there on the GLFx, on our own page, on the GLFx website, then also share the link with them so that they can put it on their website and also share it across their social media platform, which is part of what we are doing. Like this workshop we are having this afternoon, we will send it to them. They will add it to their materials that they will post on their various platform, and whatever they are going to extract from this workshop, they also extract and make use of the materials like videos, pictures, and intellectual materials, information that is shared that can be useful for the platform in general, not just our own locality. Then also, we are expected that before the end of this year, we are supposed to grow our members. And I think by the time we are having a larger workshop, we'll make that a point to reach, that everybody that will come for that workshop, we sign up to the GLFx Ibadan chapter. Then when we see at the number that we have a sizable number who has aligned with us among our stakeholders during this workshop. What we'll now do is we'll now start to think of how we can begin to have another chapter under the Ibadan GLFx chapter. We need to bet another chapter, as it were. Then our community action plans, when we go to on-site to do any work, we need to put it on tape, we need to put it on record, because they need it to promote the work we're doing and also to seek for more funding for us. So every relevant authority, everybody that we're bringing in to collaborate with, we must be able to tell them this is where we are coming from, this is our point A, this is our point B, and this is what we intend to achieve. The farmers, yes, we know it's through the training, the information they need to know to desist from their old way of agricultural practice to the new sustainable agricultural practices. That is where the community, we need also the support of the community to help us to drive this and all the institutions that have been mentioned. And every of these things will be captured in our materials that we'll be sending to the GLFx team. And also,
Send them your account number. No,
Ben, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. Then, what are we adopting? What strategies, what means, what plans are we going to devise to do this? Definitely, we have mentioned so many things. There are goals, there are mandates that we need to deliver on. We need teamwork. First and foremost, we all know that the Rip White team are the coordinating team for this project, the local coordinating team. So we work as a team, then every other of a stakeholder becomes a member of our team. Then we must divide different means, not just, okay, this is our template that we have developed and we have to be rigid in following it. No, we need to be flexible. When we need to bend a bit, when we need to wipe up an idea, because probably an idea you conceived last year might not surface this time of the year. Times have evolved, things have evolved, times and situation around us have changed. Then we need also to be committed to this project and to this endeavor. Then also our biggest tool that we're using, as we know from the GLFS meetings or initiative, is driving whatever we do, our campaign, our sensitization, our awareness, the training, to show it on the digital platform is our biggest tool that we have that we are going to deploy. So whatever we are going to do, we make sure it is well represented across all digital platforms on our own and on the bigger platform of the GLFS platform is our major tool. Then also, we need our checks and balances, periodic assessment. We need to find out where we are, what we have done, what we are doing, and what we need to do, what we have done right and what we are doing wrong. So there's need for periodic assessment to check, also examine ourselves to really know if we align with the bigger picture of the initiative that the Global Landscape Forum has sold to us that we have aligned with, and to see whether we are in alignment with that. But if not, we need to call ourselves back and make sure we are in line with whatever is required and is expected of us. So we must do all of this, work as a team, divide different means, be committed, use our digital space to promote our local work, our local actions, and also call for time to check what we are doing to know that we are in line with what is expected of us. Then also, we need to review our action plan. Nike, I don't know whether quickly we need to have a discussion here or we just say what is expected of us as a team here.
Yeah, I think because that's the main point of discussion, we can open the action plan so that we can look at it together.
Okay.
Which program can we do first? You know, there are some programs we move to the end, we may have to bring them earlier and all of that.
All
so
right,
we can share that.
So let me share the community action plans that we have. Then we have some few minutes of discussion. Can we see it now? Is it on our screen?
No, you may need to share again so that you can navigate.
That's still on the old screen. Stop sharing. Stop sharing. Yes, it's on our screen now.
Yes.
Is it on our screen now, right?
Yes, it is. It is.
All right. So we have seen the community action plan. I know most of us would have had access to this document because we were supposed to have a big launch, but for our financial constraint, for obvious reasons, we have to just quickly have the coordinators workshop, which is what we are doing presently. So let's look at that document before us and see what should come next. I want to buy your ideas. I want to see it on the plate. Let's see, let's have a brief discussion about it. Then we begin to recite some activities or events as we discuss. Please, we need your time. I don't expect us to be silent here. Which one?
What I believe we should do, this is just an internal brainstorming, like a stakeholders meeting that we are doing. However, I would have preferred that we involve the leaders of the communities that we are engaging, because bulk of our work is sensitization and then enlightenment. And if we cannot do any of those things without the leaders of those communities and the farmers association leaders and all those people that we have been engaging. In doing that, I would prefer that in our next meeting, I don't know how we can involve them online, but it is very paramount that we have a one-on-one sit out and brainstorm, lead them with maybe flyers, public dissemination materials, so that they too can start passing that message that we have been preaching on landscape restoration and all, so that they too will be able to push that out to their members, who are the key beneficiaries at the end of the day. We will be solving the farming part of it, where their yield will be increased, and then we will be also boosting the environment, so to speak. So my position is, it is important that we involve the very people that are directly involved, beneficiaries. Those beneficiaries should be directly involved in all that we do, because we are seated here today now. We still have to go back and start passing out messages that we have for them. And I don't see that's time consuming, number one. That is, in terms of logistic finance, is involved. So at the end of the day, we'll start incurring more money in going around and do the same thing. But if we bring them all together, one, and then we are at once, and then we are able to pass all this information out, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if my fellow team members would agree to that.
Anybody?
You are right, sir. Yes, like he suggested, in fact, that's one of the first activities we wrote on our action plan, and which we must do. We really want to make a meaningful impact. But this particular workshop is just for the coordinating team, but hopefully by the time we have the fund from GLF, because we are constrained with funding as at this moment, until we get there, that's when we can actually toss the logistics and bringing all the stakeholders. It's going to be cost implication. Definitely all of them, especially the farmers, they can't be online. The farmers, they can't be online. We have to bring them into a place, a physical program, not virtual. So at least the coordinator would take note of that. The moment we have the first tranche of fund, the first meeting we are going to be having, the first program is going to be the stakeholders meeting.
Yeah, sure.
So it's fine. Very good observation, sir.
Okay, yeah. Any other person? Joke, Joseph, Itama, Catherine. All right. Maybe we'll align with what Ben and Nick have said. Although, like she rightly mentioned, that was supposed to be our first program, creating awareness, sensitization, having a big launch. Like I said, you're supposed to have everybody that will participate in the project in one all. We let them know what we are for, what we are here to do, then so that they can align with it from the set go. You get, but because of the financial constraint, we now decided to, first of all, go ahead with this coordinators workshop, which we are doing presently. We have identified that till when funds are available, our next project will be the workshop for our stakeholders and every other person that will be participating in the project. I think I can now go back to the slide.
If I may,
Can you see scroll? We have not reviewed the action plan. We are not yet done.
if I may add, we should be able to create like a campaign. I don't know a campaign like a tree planting and earth restoration campaign around some of these communities that are highly affected by degradation and deforestation. That way, we are also passing out a message and directly impacting the communities themselves. As in, we plant trees, we get some trees, and actually plant and then hand them over to those communities and all that, so that they know that this is exactly what we are expected of them, and they should continue from there. We can always be supporting them with trees, seedlings, and all that to just apart from beautifying the environment, to help build that environment in terms of forest. Thank you.
I think okay.
Before we call for stakeholders meeting, we're talking about campaign and calling for stakeholder meeting for kick-off on our plan. I think we should, there's need for us to send out messages, letters, and all of that stationery to these people. We can't just go out there and set a date and be like, okay, we are having stakeholders meeting, come. So before the stakeholder meeting, before the going out to the communities and all that, because there's need for us to first of all ensure that these stakeholders understand what this is about, first of all, before we get to these communities. So sending out messages to these people, because you keep talking about financial constraint, yet there will still need for us to spend from the resources we have to reach out to these people, send letters, make calls, and all of that. These have to be before the stakeholders meeting. So I think we should put that into consideration.
Yeah, thank you, Tama. Definitely, that we cannot have a stakeholders meeting or engagement without sending out communication that we are coming to have this thing with you on a set date. That must be captured. If there's no communication, who are you going to meet? Who are you going to engage with? Who will you be having any form of meeting or sensitization program with? So there will definitely be a clear communication for time, date, venue to all those people that we have identified. Thank you for raising that point. Then, Nike, I don't know if time will permit us to go through the length of this document. I need your input.
Yes, sir. Can you just scroll back to the first? Yes, sir. Then we can now go down to see the other activity. Yes, activity.
Activity 1.1: create awareness on the hazard of harmful agricultural practice on the landscape among farmers. When we have had our engagement sensitization, then we now begin to break our stakeholders into groups, and we have different engagements with them. Yes, we have large one, everybody will come together, but when you want to create awareness, now this one is focused on the farmers. We'll have an engagement with them. Then maybe we'll need resource person. We need to also bring them on board, because they might be the one to come and train them, tell them what they need to know.
Yes, sir. My own concern today is I want us to see if we can do a reorder of our activity. Because looking at the initial activity plan that we have, there are some programs that virtually is at the end of probably towards the end of the year, but there is a need to bring them up, like the outreach to secondary schools. Like for instance, because if we are doing the outreach at the end of the project, the students are not well incorporated in the chapter. So I think we may need to move that out to secondary school earlier. As soon as we get the first change, then we commence on that outreach to secondary school, so that we can get some of these students part of Ibadan GLF charter, even from the even during implementation, during campaigns, when we are going out, they can be part of us, at least with the permission of the school principal.
True, yeah. Yeah, because we sign them up as our ambassador. They wear our t-shirts. Even we might use some of their schools for nursery so that they have an idea. Then when it's time for planting, we go to their school, bring them, they follow us to the site where we're going to be doing the tree planting. Nice one. Any other one? Let's just go through then, because we said we should be going through them one by one. We might not exhaust it.
It's
Train
just
farmers.
true because there's no time.
Okay,
The
time,
time
yeah.
is-
It's almost, yeah. But I think I just upgraded. I don't know whether it will permit me. I've upgraded for another 40 minutes. To train farmers on sustainable landscape management and agricultural practice that will help increase food production and also preserve the landscape for the use of now and the future generation. That one we come after our workshop, after we've done an outreach with the secondary school, these people that we're bringing on board as our ambassadors. Then when we start having this, we have started delivering the projects proper. When we start having